Yann, hi, David Wheeler.
Hi, David. I'm glad to meet you.
Oh, thank you so much for taking me
Thanks
on
for
this
your
tour.
interest in the Dali.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear all about it.
Oh, that's great. Who is the client? What is the site? What is the purpose? What are their absolute functional needs? What are their dreams? And frame that, research it, understand it properly in order then to kind of discover iteratively how it shapes itself. Another great architect, Louis Kahn, said, what does it want to be? It shapes itself. And you have to test and test and test every idea. And you have to listen very well. My great mentor and teacher and former boss for a long time was I.M. Pei. And I.M. never said this, but it was very obvious working with him that one of his strongest skills was knowing how to listen. And listen to what people are saying, what people are writing, what everyone thinks, what's the body language, and use intuition and then rational thought to find very clear answers.
So a good architect listens.
A good architect listens. Architecture's not really a place for divas. I don't think.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think. So then just tremendous amount of research, trying to understand Salvador Dali. I went with the director. He invited me to go with him to see Dali's home studio in Catalonia, to see Dali's own design, the museum he had designed for himself.
Okay, so Dali designed a museum
for himself.
Okay.
Yes, in Figueres, and it's terrific. It's a transformation of an old theater. And Buckminster Fuller did the dome for the atrium there. Well, with that clue, it was obvious that we should use some of Bucky's thought process to create a geodesic structure. These pieces were cast in India. This was cast in India. This is steel, cast. They were then sent, I think, to Germany and Milwaukee and shaped just perfectly for each one. So each one of these bars is a different length. Each one of these angles is a slightly different angle. And then it's all put together. And then the glass is then bolted on top of that.
With no two triangular pieces of glass the same?
Never the same. But then protecting the collection is very special here in Florida, as you know. And we're right next to the water. We're on a beautiful bay. That's a marvelous plus, but we're also next to the bay, which is a potential danger. We're not at the top of a 120-foot, 12,000-foot mountain. We have to care about hurricanes and storm surge, wind gusts, and the protecting collection. The board was very clear. They said we would like to be able to withstand a Category 5 hurricane.
A Category 5 hurricane?
Yes. Florida code requires buildings to be tough up to a Category 3 in this site.
And this one can withstand a Category 5?
This one, they said Category 5 for the collection, for everything that is mission critical. So that means it needs to be a Fort Knox. And that explains the concrete walls.
Yeah,
these are
18 inches.
These are 18 inches thick. This is 6,000-pound waterproof concrete. It can withstand the gusts of wind that you would get with a Category 5. It's tough, tough, tough. The glass is Category 3. We then had to say, well, what if a very bad storm happens, and one or two of those yachts is sticking through the glass? The structure would be hindered, but it could breach the glass. The pressure, air pressure in here, the humidity would completely change. There are roll-down doors at all the entrances to the mission-critical areas that will protect them, so they're safe. There are 7 of these skylights in the gallery for the largest works, each one in one of what they call the salons. You have to be very careful with natural light. You have to take out all the ultraviolet light, filter it out, and you have to bring it down from 10,000 foot candles outside, or whatever it is, depending on the day, down to under 25 foot candles in terms of light amount.
Okay.
Otherwise, the painting will fade.
Okay. Right.
And that's not good.
Right.
But this, we worked very hard to develop these light cannons to bounce the light properly. We did computer tests, we did mock-ups and models working with our lighting consultant, and then we did full-scale mock-ups here in the building. What this means is if a cloud goes over the sun, the painting changes.
The painting lives.
The painting lives.
And breathes.
Yes. It's a very, to me, that's very important. My favorite view is this shape. If you look at microscopic cross-sections of bone structures.
Okay, let me think. Microscopic cross-sections of bone structures. Okay. This is...
This is how nature designs things.
Okay.
Should we go outside?
Sure, yeah.
The director likes to call the garden the avant-garden.
The avant-garden.
It's just deliberately another way of experiencing the museum. There's a labyrinth over there, which is very popular with children. We designed it very carefully so you cannot get lost. There's only one way in, and that's the same way out. You can't get lost in it. And then the trees are all native, except for the cypress, which, because they're evocative of Spain and northern Spain. You'll see the spiral here. I worked with the director on that. He was fascinated. I explained to him, you know, how the Fibonacci series is related to the golden rectangle and to the spiral. Fibonacci, the great mathematician of the early Middle Ages, formulated it in terms of, well, you take any number and add it to any other number. And then you take the sum of those two and you add it to the number before it. And you follow that series and you end up with a series which ends up being a spiral. Dali used it for many of the portions of his paintings frames. You see it in the way trees branch themselves. Since the new building opened, Dali has certainly doubled its attendance. So it's now the most attended museum, I think, and certainly in Florida and maybe in the Southeast. And I will say it's been, just to give credit to the museum itself, it was such a pleasure working with the museum on this all the way through. And even today, you know, now that we're no longer designing and they're using the space. That makes me happy.
It has been such a pleasure. I've really enjoyed learning about the museum. I can't thank you enough.
Dr. Wheeler, it was such a pleasure meeting you, and also this was fun talking about.
Until next time.
Until the next time. Until the next museum.
Yes.